So, the Beginning's Guide, a game developed by David, David David Reedon. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name, but the original creator of the Stanley Parable. I feel like I had to discuss this game because to me this is such an important game to me. Not to me personally, but just to just to gaming, just gaming. Because this game is so personal, so personal. This game is more personal than any game I've ever seen of my years and years of playing video games. This game shows more about the actual developer of the game than any game has before. So I felt like it was important to talk about. So I'm gonna give a basic run through of the plot. The plot is Davey had a friend named what was his name? Started with a C. Excuse me. Coda. His name was Coda, and he made games, but never released them. He only showed them to Davey, and that was it. Like he would make them, and then he would just like not show them to anybody. And this is like a true story, supposedly. I don't know if it's an actual true story or not, but supposedly, Davey had a friend. He made these games, never released them, just threw them in his recycling bin. Occasionally showed them to Davey, and stuff like that. So we're going through these games, and while we're going through these games, Davey is kind of giving commentary onto what Davey thinks was going through Coda's head while he was developing these games. And these games are more or less all the same. Well, not the same conceptually, but like just you're walking through and there's minimal interaction, and they're kind of like your walking simulators, like your Dear Esther's or your Gone Homes, stuff like that. But basically, he's just going through these games periodically by time Coda released them, and he's going through and discussing what might have been going on in Coda's head at the time, why these games were even made in the first place. So, excuse me. But as we go through these games that Coda has made, we start getting deeper. At first it was just like, like conceptual game creating kind of things that were interesting and that pull you in at first, but then we start going into like very, very personal details about Coda, and we start seeing games that like delve into how he's fighting with his own creative thought, and he's discussing to himself, and we start going into like how lonely he is, how alone he feels, how empty he feels, and how confused he is about his own creative mindset, and why it sometimes stops working, and why and then we get into like how now this is just my interpretation, but how Coda's games start becoming tedious to make. But like again, he doesn't release them, but these games start to become tedious to make for himself, and they start becoming frustrating to come up for concepts for. And it's a very in-depth thing, and an in-depth look at this person, Coda, a very in-depth look at this person, Coda, and around about 15 minutes left in the game, we see this very, oh my god, it brought me to tears. It brought me to tears doorstep. We see this very personal section of a game, and it's literally a Coda puts text on the wall that says, "Davey, thanks for playing my games. Please stop talking to me." And it goes into why he needs to stop talking to him, and how he doesn't appreciate people, because Davey started showing people his games because he thought that it might help Kota in his depression that we go to learn about. But really, it just makes it worse. Like, really, the only reason that Kota was in this mindset was because Davey had to see his games. And then we go on to discover that maybe Kota didn't have the problem. Maybe it was Davey that really needs help, or needed help, or needs help right now. Like, as I speak, like, maybe he's not in the best mindset right now. And to discover that about a developer is mind-boggling. I've never discovered things like, let's take BioShock for example, because like BioShock's my favorite game or whatever. But we see outside influences. Excuse me. We see outside influences from other sources like Ayn Rand. What's her name? Something Rand. BioShock is basically a retelling of one of her books. Atlas Shrugs, I believe, is the name of the book. I'm not sure. But it's basically just a retelling of that. And you see all these like outside influences on the game, and that tells you a little bit about the personality of the developers, maybe what they like, what they deem entertaining. But we've never seen a game that goes into depth into what the developer is feeling and how he responds to those feelings. It's such a personal adventure through Davey that I've never seen before, and I just felt like it needed to be talked about. And now we go into this discussion where we ask ourselves, was it okay to release this game? Because it is such a personal thing between these two people, Davey and Kota. Was it okay to release this game? And more importantly, was it okay to charge $10 for it? Now, I don't mind spending the money to play it. It doesn't matter to me. I think people should, if they feel like they should charge for it, they should be able to. But was it morally okay to do so? We learn in the ending, around the ending of the game, that Davey released this game. Excuse me again. I'm so sorry. Davey explains towards the end of the game that he released this collection of Kota's games as sort of an apology, and Davey says that he doesn't even know if it was okay to release, but he's just so desperate to play more of Kota's games that he had no idea what else to do. And at this point, apparently, Davey and Kota have stopped contact after Kota had asked him to. But we see that Davey's kind of going loopy, kind of going crazy, because he needs Kota's games to feel good about himself in some way. He feels like his self-esteem is obviously very low, and playing his games and giving Kota feedback on his games is a form of kind of making himself involved in something that he felt like he couldn't create himself, and that makes him feel good about himself, and it makes him feel happy about himself. And that's why it's like he even describes it like a drug, like a disease. Like, he needs this thing. He needs Kota's games to make him feel good about himself. And that's when we start realizing that this isn't Coda's problem. This is Davy's problem. And so I beg the question, is it okay to have released this game? Is it okay to have shined light on this extremely personal thing? Was it okay to shine light on it? Even asked repeatedly by Coda to not show people his games, was it okay? And also, I beg the question: is this stuff even real? Like, is Coda not real? Is this just a elaborate illusion that Davy has created? Which, granted, would be really awesome. It would be super cool and still have that personal level into Davy's mindset, but I don't think it would have gotten the same response out of me that I felt like I had to make a video about it. So this is a discussion, obviously, so I'd really love to have some feedback on this. I don't know if we're gonna get any news or like anything from Davy that says that yes, this is all real, or no, it's not. I don't know if we're gonna get a confirmation that this stuff is real or not, but I'd really like a confirmation on that. So, this is a discussion. If you guys have anything else to add, go ahead, comment, share it with your friends, whatever. But, it just felt like this game had to be talked about. So, thanks for watching again. And, you know the drill. Shit down in the description. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good day.